Hello all, welcome back to Maverick Mods. Working on the Firebird again today. Gonna get the rest of the interior out, take the sound deadening material out, take a really good look at the floors, see what we've got to work with, and gonna try and get the rest of the trunk emptied out, see what we're looking at there. So cue the music. Seat frames, extremely rusty. We're gonna have to take a really close look at these. They feel solid. They might clean up in the sandblaster. Spring's not too bad, but the seats are gonna need a complete recondition. Same on this side.
Interesting way to attach the console.
All right, next up we'll get door sill plates off, pull the carpet. I have never been a fan of this loop pile. Can't tell you why, it's just a personal taste. I like the cut pile in later cars. I'm going to see if we'll be able to find some cut pile carpet for it. I think this really makes, to me, this just makes cars of this area look really dated. And now for the sound deadening material. So cue the music. Well, if you want to know why old cars' floors rust out, here's where it starts. So with the sound deadening mat removed, at least most of it, don't have it all out, but almost all of it. Here's the rear passenger footwell body plug, which looks like was just a plate put in with seam sealer, and I just peeled it up by hand. It might have sealed well for a while, but that seal gave up a long time ago. And you can see right here, no rot, but a little bit of rust forming right around that hole. So water was getting up under the edge and just pooling right here in the lip, and that's what starts the rust. Back here, under the passenger seats, not too terribly bad. This one is seam sealed in, but there's some rust starting back here. A little bit of rot on the clips for the seats themselves. We might wind up replacing those, but I'll get the hammer out and really take a look, see about how solid these floor seams. But so far, this side seems pretty good. But over here on the passenger side, where there was a lot of rust on the passenger seat bottom frame, same thing. Body plug came right up. It was put on with seam sealer. A little bit of rust there, But here, there was nothing on this hole. This hole was open. That doesn't mean that there wasn't something there originally, but if you look at the amount of rust right in this little seat well right here, it kind of almost tells me that maybe if there ever was a plug, it came out, was taken out, or fell out a long time ago. So we might have to take a close look at this area here. All right, moving back to the interior. First thing you need to do, pull a steering wheel. Generally there's 2 or 3 screws on the back side. Or 2, it's supposed to be 3. And the cover comes off. Next, so we'll take the nut off. And if you don't have the proper tool, you can always leave the nut on and just wiggle and pull. You know, a harmonic balancer puller is not exactly the proper tool to use, but it does get the job done. Steering wheel comes off. Actually, I don't even think there's any reason to go beyond that. We'll leave the column intact for now. And we'll go ahead and just pull the column. Next up, getting the steering column out. Take out this lower brace. Should have 4 bolts, of which 2 I will need an extension. Lower brace comes out. I believe we have 9/16 there. 2 nuts at the base of the column. The column will drop down. Now we will have 3 screws at the firewall. Should be either 5/16 or 3/8. And the 3/8. Next, sometimes you can get to the wiring harness without pulling that collar. Sometimes you can't. You generally will have 2, there we go, 2 wire harnesses. One will be for the turn signals and one will be for the ignition switch. Just release the tab and out she comes. And I've got to remember where the tab is for the ignition switch. And the other one is right there, right on top. You just depress it, wiggle, and pull. And the harnesses are off. Oh, we got one more screw. So we've got one more harness back here. Neutral safety switch. There we go. And the column eventually will come out. It's not 80-pound hood heavy, but it is awkward heavy. And that brake pedal in the way is not helping. There we go. That's all we needed. Just a little extra room. And just remember the steering shaft comes out with it. Next we'll take the deck lid, spoilers, tail lights, and various paraphernalia on the rear end of the car off. See what we're looking at underneath. While we're here, try and take this panel off. Maybe we'll get a clue as to what was going on with that oddball repair. Okay, this has a GM sticker taped to it. It's definitely a replacement panel. My first day at welding was better than that. No offense. I don't know. I just don't know. If you have any ideas, stick them down in the comments. Okay, while we're back here, let's see if we can get the trunk gasket out. The aid of my fingers and the trunk gasket removal tool if necessary. So far, no rust underneath. That's always a good sign. Now, as long as nobody has tried to glue this thing in without my permission, hit our first snag. This has everything to do with this unapproved, what in the world? What in the world? Stand by. I have no earthly idea what we're dealing with here, but it's not a problem now. Now on this side, we do not have an unapproved trunk support system, so it came off a little easier. To get this out, you basically just take your finger, your thumb, roll across the inner portion of the rubber gasket, excuse me, the weather strip seal. Somebody has tried to glue this back in down here. Can't blame them. I think this seal reached its life limit somewhere around probably, I'm guessing 30, maybe 40 years ago. The occasional intrusion of a self-tapping screw probably did not help maintain the structural integrity of the gasket in localized spots. but we're not telling anybody. I don't know if your camera's picking this up, but this thing's coming out about half weather strip seal, half dust. All right, good news. I don't see any rust in the channel. That's always a good sign. It's always good news. Well, there you have it, fellas. We've got the interior out, got the sound deadening material out, took a good look at the floors, got the trunk emptied out. Now we've got an idea of what we've got to work with, at least a little bit better idea. Sure do appreciate you tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. It sure would help me out, and I look forward to seeing you again.